Hey, I Design Your Eyes readers. Today, we're going to be going behind the scenes of the television series CSI. We're going to be heading to North Hollywood, California, to the Zoic Studio sound stages, where we'll be taking a look at what it takes to create the visual effects for the series. We're going to be speaking to Rick Shorten, who's the visual effects supervisor, and we'll be taking a look at 2 different shots and finding out how the Zoic team created the visual effects for them. So I'm here with Rick Shorten, who is the visual effects supervisor for CSI. And can you kind of talk a little bit about what we saw with regards to some of the shots that you're doing for episode 4?
One was our typical snap zoom. In the show, we often want to show the audience a macro to micro view of a crime scene or a piece of evidence. So they'll often start wide and they'll establish a scene, and then one of the characters will either see something or pick up on something, and they'll locate a crucial piece of evidence or something that we want the audience to focus on. And we go from 1 times magnification to 100 times magnification in 1 second, and we call that a snap zoom, and that lets the audience see it in relation to the scene and where it is, as far as where they find the clue, and then what that piece of evidence looks like up close. And one of the shots we did there was they find a severed head, and inside the head they find the fibers from one of the killer's jackets that wound up inside the mouth under the tongue. So that shot, it was an illustration of evidence linked us to the killer, which is the show, and they found by finding those fibers, the audience gets to see what the CSIs find, and so we needed to shoot the backside of that element, which was shot on a prosthetic head. That doubled the actor, so it was a plaster mold was made of the actor's face, and then he was modeled in silicone and made to look very real and very creepy. And then we placed the fiber inside his mouth and shot the extreme close-up that we needed on our endoscopic lens, which lets us get about 6 inches from the evidence, and that was the backside of that. So we started wide on location, and we ended with our prosthetic piece on stage that we shot.
What is that?
That is a longhorn beetle.
If there's something else in his mouth and it's not moving.
So the second shot that we're about to see is a green screen shot, and it's a reenactment of the killing. So basically you're going to see an actor in front of a green screen, and he's kind of hanging on like this barbed wire fence, and then all of a sudden, well, don't listen to me talk about it. Let's go back behind the scenes to see how the visual effects shot was created.
So the director wanted to transition between this experiment in the lab and then flashing back to the actual event of the victim being hacked out in the forest. So he wanted to combine the 2 worlds together. And in order for us to do that and create the sort of transition from the garage to the forest and blend those 2 locations together, some elements needed to be shot on green screen.
This is the shot that I've been working on for the last day or 2. I split my time between this and, going on set.
And this shot, I mean, really, when you look at the entire episode, how long would you say this shot is going to be within the confines of everything?
I think the final runtime on this shot is, well, it's under 200 frames, so it's, maybe like 6 to 8 seconds, depending on what they do in their cut, in their final edit, which that's actually kind of a long shot for the show. Like, a lot of times we'll deliver shots that are like 40 frames, 60 frames, so you're waiting for your shot to come up, and then there it is on screen for like just over a second, and then it's gone.
Wow.
So yeah, sometimes a lot of work goes into 2 seconds on screen can translate to a week or 2 weeks worth of work.
We did our actor being hacked on a green screen environment with a set piece, and then we used that as an element and blended it into our background plate of the forest, and then did some enhancements to that. We added leaves, we relit it, and sort of a blended flashback from what they're looking at from their experience or from their experiment to the actual murder taking place. And that's why we needed to shoot those things as separate elements so we could combine them later here and add all the extras that the director wanted.
why do that? I mean, we just proved you can get the job done standing in the same spot.
Maybe he didn't know that.
There is another possibility. Maybe he wasn't alone.
Somewhere like a martini.
Good, cut.